What's going on, guys? So in today's video I wanted to go over my top 5 setting changes that I recommend from the defaults that you get, if if the truck is new to you, or if you've had the truck for a while and you didn't even know about these settings. Hopefully you find these helpful. So let's dive into it. Alright, so the first setting that I recommend to change from the default is if you go to settings and then display, and this is more of a personal preference kind of thing. You could, by default, I think it's on auto mode, so during the day it'll all be white, and then at night, when your headlights kick on and all that and it gets dark out, it switches to the night mode. So during the day it's this white background, and then during the night it's the blue background. So I don't really like the map system when it's in this white mode. It just doesn't look very nice, and it's too bright, annoying. But again, personal preference. So if you just go to settings, display, and so I just go to the mode setting, and I just permanently put it into night mode. I just prefer that view. It looks a little more modern. A lot of phones now have the dark mode option, things like that. It kind of just goes along with that, which is really nice. All right, so for the next setting change that I like to do, if you go to features and then driver assistance, if you go to this lane keeping system, there are 2 modes, and you can, I think by default it's just alert. So that's the if we look at here, see those gray lines next to the truck while you're driving, those will be blue, I think, or green, I can't remember offhand. But if you start drifting off into the edge of the lane, like the yellow lines, things like that. I'm in a parking lot, but you get the point. Yellow line on the in the center, and then white line in the edge. It'll warn you that, hey, you're drifting over. And I think the steering wheel will kind of vibrate a little bit in your hands. This feature was broken probably like 3 revisions ago, and it kept, every time you turn the truck off and come back in, it would go back to alert mode only. So I think I did another video on this, that it looks like it's been resolved, and it has been. It's been perfect ever since that I made that video, in the fall. So if you just go in here and do alert plus aid, not only will it, do the low, steering wheel vibration and then the alert down here on the screen, but it'll actually start turning the wheel, into the back to the center, or at least, get you off the edge. So that's a really nice feature that I like to turn on. All right, number 3. This will be related to the windshield wipers. I believe this is off by default because I thought I had to go in and turn it on. So under settings, then vehicle, then wipers, this rain sensing button or whatever, just turn that on, and it will automatically turn the wipers on when it detects water on the windshield. And along with that, you have to go here and turn this setting to at least the 1. I leave it right on the 1, but see this where it kind of goes, 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess it ends up at 3. These first 3 positions are how sensitive it is for the auto sensing wipers. So like I said, I like number 1. Just remember, when you pull into a car wash, just flip this back to the 0 to turn it off, because otherwise your wipers will automatically kick on in the car wash, and potentially you could ruin your wipers, and it could get caught up if you don't do like the touch-free one. They could get caught up in the brushes or whatever they are, in the car wash. All right, so number 4. This one has to do with the backup camera. I guess if you don't ever use a trailer or care about what's behind you after you're kind of backing up and slowly driving away, you may not find this, feature useful, but for anybody else that does any towing at all, whatsoever, I really love this feature. So if you go to features, then rear view camera, it'll already have the park aid on. That's on by default, but this rear view camera delay is the next or the one that's off by default, and I like to turn on. So what it does is it even after here, I'll throw it in reverse here for a second. So even after I put it into park, notice how the camera stays on. If that feature's not on, it'll immediately disappear. And you can actually go, start driving away, and it'll stay on until you hit like a certain speed. And I apologize, I can't remember what that speed is offhand. It's like 10 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour, something like that. But that's really helpful when you are, going, pulling away from a trailer, and you just want to know, did the hitch come away freely? Did I remove all the cables and chains and things like that? So that's been a really helpful feature. And for number 5, this one will be under features, and then let's see if I can remember, driver assistance. And it's this top one right here, this auto hold. This one I would say use with extreme caution, or at least some caution. What it does is when you come up to a stoplight or a stop sign, or even just stop like I just did in this parking lot, you can actually let go of the brake pedal, and you'll see this little sign with the hand with a circle around it. So I'm obviously I don't have the foot on the brake or anything, and you can see it's in drive and I am not moving. It will stay that way until you just kind of give a light tap to the gas pedal, and then see, now we're rolling forward. I'll just put it back in park for right now. The reason I say use this with caution is because when you go into a car wash, for example, and if it's got the track system that kind of pulls you through it, and they tell you to put it in neutral in the beginning, if you've ever been through one of those, this will keep the even though you do let go of the brake pedal and you put it into neutral. I wish that when you put it in neutral, it disabled the feature. If any Ford engineers are listening, that would be nice, because obviously if you're putting it in neutral, you want it to move anyways, but they could have done it just as a safety thing. So what I do is as I pull up to the car wash, I just quickly go to the features screen, driver assistance, and then just flip the feature off real quick. And it happens instantly. You don't have to, press, commit or save or anything like that. So I just, go through the car wash. When I pull out, I turn this back on, and then I set this, it would have been 0, and then I set it back to 1, and then you're good to go. So for car washes, those are the two kind of warnings for these features that, you want to turn that off and turn this off. I've had it a few times where I've kind of just coasted in and then popped it in neutral, and it's not really a problem, but sometimes it's a pain to get it to move, and then you stop the whole track system. So I've just been turning it off as I pull into the car wash. So I guess I had one last one, so we'll instead of calling it number 6, we'll call it the bonus feature. Is one that I've been playing with the last few weeks, and I really like it. Is if you go to cruise control, and there's a few different options here. By default, it's set to adaptive, which basically just means that if you set your cruise control, it'll automatically keep the distance to the vehicle in front of you based on the distance setting you've put in place using this button right here. So you can kind of change that setting. Let's see if I can turn this on. Yep, there you go. So you hit that button and you can set your distance to the vehicle in front of you. So that's the adaptive cruise control. And another tip, if you haven't watched the video where I had a little bit of ice on the front bumper in front of the sensors, if you're driving and the truck disables your cruise control, just go to this screen. It's under features, driver assistance, and then cruise control. Just set it to normal, because that'll allow you to resume using cruise control, even though the sensors are blocked in the front. You just won't get that adaptive feature. But what I did a few weeks ago was turned on this intelligent option. And all it does is it reads the speed limit signs, and it will automatically, as you pass into, let's say you've got your cruise control set to 55 and a 55, just something like that. If you go into a 40 mile an hour zone, the truck will slow the truck down to 40 plus whatever your tolerance is. So I've got mine set to 5. So if I hit a 45 mile an hour zone, it will hit or it'll drop your speed down to 45. And then again, if you leave that 40-mile-an-hour zone, it goes back to 55, then it'll set it to 60, for example. I'm going to make a whole separate video just on this topic, just because I think it's a kind of an interesting feature to show off. But that is another feature that I've been, really happy with so far. All right, guys, so those are my top 5 setting changes from the defaults. So like I said, if you're a new F-150 owner or an existing one and you didn't know about these features, I really hope these were helpful tips. And if they were, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below and like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.